Imagine this. You have a dream so powerful that it keeps you awake at night. You see a future where you are your own boss, where your business flourishes, where your ideas take flight and change lives. You imagine the freedom, the success, the impact. You picture the doors opening, customers lining up, your product or service making a real difference. The excitement runs deep, the possibilities seem endless. This is it. This is the moment you decide to step into the world of business and turn your vision into reality. You wake up early, you stay up late, and you put everything into it. The passion burns bright, and in the beginning, it feels like nothing can stop you. You read about entrepreneurs who started with nothing and built empires. You tell yourself that if they can do it, so can you, and you can. But then, reality steps in, and it does so without warning. The statistics are brutal. Most businesses do not survive beyond the first few years. Not because the owners lacked passion, not because they did not work hard enough, but because passion and effort alone are not enough. Reality is different from the dream. Bills need to be paid. Customers are harder to find than expected. Competition is fierce. The initial excitement starts to fade, replaced by stress, uncertainty, and the creeping thought that maybe this was a mistake. But it was not a mistake. It was simply an incomplete plan. Businesses do not fail because their owners are not capable. They fail because there are hidden traps, unseen obstacles, and challenges that no one warns you about. They fail because, too often, people believe in the dream but do not prepare for the reality. And this is where the difference lies. The purpose of this message is not to discourage you. It is not to tell you that your dream is impossible. In fact, it is the opposite. It is to show you exactly what causes most businesses to fail, and more importantly, how to make sure yours does not. It is about learning from the mistakes of others so you do not have to make them yourself. It is about taking action in a way that is smart, strategic, and built for long-term success. Failure is not destiny. It is simply a lesson, a redirection, a sign that something needs to change. And those who are willing to learn, adapt, and keep going are the ones who thrive. Success is possible. It does not happen overnight. It does not happen by luck. It happens when you understand the challenges ahead and prepare for them. It happens when you build something strong from the ground up, with patience, with clarity, with resilience. This is not just about surviving in business. It is about thriving. It is about creating something that lasts, something that grows, something that brings value not just to you, but to the people you serve. This is your journey. It will not be easy, but it will be worth it. And with the right mindset, the right strategies, and the right knowledge, you will not just be another statistic. You will be the exception. You will be the 10% who make it. And that journey starts now. It begins with excitement. The idea of starting a business fills your mind with endless possibilities. You imagine the freedom, the success, the pride of building something of your own. You think about the money you could make, the impact you could have, and the dream lifestyle that so many entrepreneurs seem to enjoy. It feels right. It feels like this is your calling. But then, something unexpected happens. The energy that once pushed you forward starts to feel heavy. The business does not grow as quickly as you hoped. Customers are not lining up the way you imagined. Money is going out faster than it is coming in. The excitement fades. And in its place, frustration takes over. This is the moment when many businesses begin to fail. And the reason is simple. They started for the wrong reasons. There is a dangerous belief that passion alone is enough to build a successful business. That if you love something enough, if you believe in it deeply, everything will somehow fall into place. But passion is only the beginning. It is the spark, not the foundation. A business cannot survive on personal interest alone. It survives by solving a real problem, by creating value that people need, by offering something that makes their lives better in a way they are willing to pay for. Many entrepreneurs start with the wrong focus. They ask themselves, what do I love? Instead of asking, what do people need? They build something around their personal passion, but they forget to ask the most important question: will anyone actually buy this? This is not to say that passion does not matter. It does. It is what keeps you going when things get hard. But passion without purpose is a dangerous trap. The businesses that thrive are the ones that start by solving a problem. They find a gap in the market, something people struggle with, something that needs fixing, something that matters beyond just personal interest. Another common mistake is believing in the illusion of quick success. It is easy to look at famous entrepreneurs and think they became successful overnight. But behind every overnight success is a long journey of struggle, failure, and relentless effort. The stories that inspire us often leave out the years of trial and error, the moments of doubt, the setbacks that almost ended everything. The truth is, real success takes time. It requires patience, learning, and the willingness to keep going even when results are slow. A business built on a strong foundation does not chase shortcuts. It does not rely on luck. It is created with clarity, with purpose, with an understanding that success is a process, not a single event. It starts with research, with listening, with understanding what people truly need. It begins by testing ideas, by learning what works and what does not, by being willing to adjust and improve before going all in. The businesses that survive do not just follow a dream. They follow a plan. They do not just focus on what they want. They focus on what their customers need. They do not expect instant success. They commit to the long journey, step by step, knowing that every challenge is a lesson, every failure is a chance to grow, and every small victory brings them closer to their goal. This is how you start a business with a clear, sustainable purpose. Not just by following a passion, but by building something that matters. Not just by hoping for success, but by preparing for the work it takes to achieve it. This is how you create something that lasts. It is one of the most heartbreaking realities in business. A person pours their heart, energy, and savings into an idea they believe in. They create a product, build a website, and open their doors, expecting people to come. But they do not. The business struggles. The excitement turns into confusion. The confusion turns into frustration. And then too often the business fades away. This happens not because the entrepreneur lacked effort, intelligence, or passion. It happens because they fell into one of the most dangerous traps in business. They assumed people wanted what they were selling instead of proving it. It is easy to believe in an idea. It is easy to convince yourself that because you love something, other people will love it too. But business does not work that way. People do not buy something just because you think it is great. They buy something because it solves a problem for them, because it makes their life easier, better, or more enjoyable. And the only way to know if people truly want what you are selling is to listen before you build. Successful businesses do not start with assumptions. They start with understanding. They do not guess what customers need. They ask. They observe. They pay attention to what frustrates people, what they complain about, what they wish existed but cannot find. They do not just create something and hope people will come. They create something people are already looking for. There are simple ways to test an idea before investing too much time or money. Talk to potential customers. Ask them if they would use what you are planning to offer. See if they would pay for it. Offer a small version of the product or service and see if anyone bites. Put up a basic website or ad and measure interest before you even start building. The best way to know if an idea will work is to let the market decide before you go all in. Many businesses fail because they refuse to adapt. They get attached to their original idea even when the market tells them it is not working. They ignore the signals, the feedback, the warning signs that people are not interested. But the businesses that thrive are the ones that listen. They are willing to change, to tweak, to adjust based on what their customers actually want, not just what they assumed would work. A business is not about the person who starts it. It is about the people who buy from it. The moment you understand this, everything changes. You stop focusing on what you want to sell and start focusing on what people need. You stop creating based on your own ideas and start creating based on real demand. You stop assuming and start proving. This is how businesses grow. This is how businesses survive. Not by guessing, but by listening. Not by forcing an idea, but by finding the right idea. Not by hoping for success, but by learning what truly makes success possible. It does not happen all at once. At first, everything seems fine. Sales are coming in, bills are being paid. The business feels like it is moving forward. But slowly, almost invisibly, something starts to go wrong. A payment is delayed. A bill is bigger than expected. The bank account starts to shrink. At first, it feels like a small problem, something temporary, but then it happens again and again until one day, the money is gone. The business cannot afford to keep going, and just like that, everything falls apart. This is how most businesses fail. Not because they do not have customers, not because they do not have a great product, but because they run out of money faster than they expected. Many new business owners assume that as long as they are making sales, they are safe. But sales do not guarantee survival. A business can be profitable on paper and still collapse if it runs out of cash. This is why so many businesses fail even when they seem successful. They do not go bankrupt because they never made money. They go bankrupt because they did not manage their money properly. One of the biggest mistakes is spending too much, too soon. A new business gets its first wave of success, and instead of saving, it starts spending. It hires too many employees. It rents an expensive office. It buys more inventory than necessary. Before long, expenses rise higher than income, and suddenly there is no cushion left. Another mistake is not tracking cash flow. Profit and cash flow are not the same thing. A business can be profitable but still run out of money if cash is not coming in when it is needed. Many businesses send invoices and assume that money will arrive on time. But if customers delay their payments and bills are due, the business runs into trouble. The gap between money coming in and money going out is what kills many companies. There are simple habits that can prevent this. First, always keep a financial cushion. Unexpected problems will come, and having extra cash can mean the difference between surviving or shutting down. Second, keep expenses low in the beginning. Just because the business is making money does not mean it should be spent right away. Third, manage cash flow carefully. Make sure there is always enough money in the bank to cover the next few months. Money is the lifeblood of any business. Without it, even the best ideas, the best products, and the best marketing cannot save a company. But with careful financial management, a business can survive its toughest moments and create a future where it does not just survive but thrives. A business is not just an idea, a product, or a service. A business is people. The people behind it determine whether it will succeed or fail. Some businesses start with a great idea but fall apart because the wrong people are in the wrong roles. Others struggle at first but become strong because the right people come together, support each other, and build something greater than any one person could alone. One of the most dangerous mistakes in business is hiring the wrong people. A bad hire does not just mean an unproductive employee. It means confusion, stress, and wasted time. It means missed opportunities and unhappy customers. It means constant problems that pull energy away from growth and innovation. A A single person with the wrong attitude or the wrong skills can create a ripple effect that weakens an entire company. Many new entrepreneurs believe they must do everything alone. They think asking for help is a weakness. They try to be the salesperson, the accountant, the marketer, and the customer service representative all at once. In the beginning, this might seem necessary, but it is a dangerous trap. No one can do everything perfectly. Eventually, exhaustion takes over. Mistakes happen, important details are forgotten. Burnout sets in, and the business begins to suffer. But something magical happens when the right people come together. A struggling business can turn into a thriving one when a great team is in place. The right people bring energy, creativity, and problem-solving skills. They fill in the gaps, allowing the business to grow beyond what one person could do alone. They bring fresh ideas, take ownership of their work, and create a culture where challenges become opportunities instead of obstacles. Finding and keeping the right people is one of the most important skills in business. It starts with hiring carefully. Instead of rushing to fill a position, take time to find someone who truly fits the company's vision and values. Look beyond resumes and qualifications. The right person is not just someone with skills, but someone with the right mindset, attitude, and ability to grow. Keeping great people is just as important as finding them. When employees feel valued, supported, and challenged, they stay. A great leader creates an environment where people want to do their best work, not just because they are paid to, but because they believe in what they are building together. A business with the wrong people will always struggle, no matter how great the idea is. But a business with the right people has the power to overcome challenges, adapt, and grow into something extraordinary. A business is like a ship, moving forward through unpredictable waters. Sometimes the journey is smooth, with clear skies and steady progress. Other times, storms appear out of nowhere, testing the strength of the ship and everyone on board. But no matter how strong the ship is, no matter how skilled the crew, everything depends on the captain. The leader determines whether the business will stay on course or sink. A business is only as good as the person leading it. Many businesses fail not because of the economy, competition, or bad luck, but because of poor leadership. A great product, a hard-working team, and a promising opportunity can all be destroyed if the person at the top makes the wrong decisions, refuses to listen, or fails to adapt. One of the most dangerous traps for a leader is ego. Some entrepreneurs believe that because they started the business, they must have all the answers. They ignore advice, reject feedback, and refuse to change their strategies, even when things are not working. Stubbornness blinds them to problems that could have been fixed. Pride stops them from admitting mistakes until it is too late. Instead of leading their business forward, they slowly drive it toward failure. A lack of vision is just as dangerous. A leader without a clear direction leaves the team confused and lost. Employees feel unmotivated when they do not understand where the company is going. Without a strong vision, small challenges turn into overwhelming obstacles. The business becomes reactive instead of proactive, constantly struggling to survive instead of working towards something greater. But leadership is not about being perfect. The best leaders are not the ones who know everything. They are the ones who are willing to learn, grow, and inspire others. They are not afraid to admit when they are wrong. They surround themselves with smart people and listen to their ideas. They do not demand loyalty through fear, but earn respect by leading with clarity, confidence, and kindness. Great leaders know that their most important job is not to do everything themselves, but to guide and support their team. They create an environment where people feel safe to share their thoughts, take risks, and push the business forward. They do not just give orders. They listen, communicate, and make decisions that benefit everyone, not just themselves. Self-awareness is the foundation of strong leadership. A great leader understands their strengths and weaknesses. They know when to step back, when to ask for help, and when to trust their team. They recognize their emotions and how those emotions affect their decisions and the people around them. This emotional intelligence helps them handle pressure, solve conflicts, and create a workplace where people feel valued and inspired. Businesses do not fail because of the economy, competition, or bad employees. They fail because of poor leadership. But leadership is not something people are born with. It is something they develop. By learning to listen, staying open to growth, and leading with purpose, business owners can turn struggling companies into thriving ones. The captain does not just steer the ship, they define its future. Imagine building a house on sand. At first it looks beautiful. The walls are perfect, the windows shine, and everything seems strong. But then the wind comes. The rain falls. Slowly, the foundation shifts. Cracks appear in the walls. Before long, the entire house collapses, not because of the weather, but because it was never built on solid ground. This is exactly what happens when a business starts with a weak business model. The excitement is there, the vision is clear, but the structure holding everything together is unstable. An unclear pricing strategy, unpredictable revenue, and a failure to create a sustainable system are some of the biggest reasons businesses fail. Passion and hard work can only take a business so far. If the foundation is weak, no amount of effort will keep it standing. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is believing that everyone is their customer. They think that by trying to sell to as many people as possible, they will increase their chances of success. But when a business tries to please everyone, it ends up pleasing no one. Successful companies do not sell to the entire world. They focus on a specific group of people who truly need what they offer. They deeply understand their customers, their problems, and what makes them buy. Instead of shouting into a crowd, they speak directly to the right people. Another major problem is pricing. Many businesses either charge too little, making it impossible to survive, or charge too much without proving their value. Some businesses rely too much on discounts, hoping that lowering prices will attract customers. But a business that constantly lowers its prices ends up teaching customers to wait for sales rather than pay full price. A strong business model has a pricing strategy that covers costs, makes a profit, and keeps customers coming back. Revenue must be predictable. A business that makes a lot of money one month and nothing the next is constantly in survival mode. It cannot plan for the future, hire the right people, or invest in growth. Businesses that succeed long-term create systems that bring in consistent income. They build subscription models, repeat customers, or steady contracts. They do not rely on luck. They design their business to generate revenue again and again. Some business models have been proven to work across different industries. Subscription services, for example, keep customers paying regularly instead of making a one-time purchase. Licensing allows businesses to make money without constantly selling new products. Marketplaces connect buyers and sellers, earning revenue without needing to own inventory. Successful businesses choose a model that fits their product, their customers, and their goals. A strong business model is one that allows a company to make money consistently without constantly struggling for the next sale. It is clear, stable, and designed for long-term success. It does not rely on hope, it relies on strategy. Entrepreneurs who take the time to build a solid foundation give themselves the best chance to succeed, no matter how strong the winds of the market may be. Imagine walking into a crowded room and trying to speak to everyone at once. Your voice gets lost in the noise. No one stops to listen because your message is too broad, too scattered. Now imagine instead that you find one person in that room who truly needs what you have to offer. You sit down with them, understand their problem, and explain how you can help. Suddenly they listen, they care, they take action. This is the difference between ineffective marketing and marketing that actually works. Most businesses fail at marketing because they try to speak to everyone. They post on social media without a clear message. They run ads that feel generic, and they hope that if they just get enough eyes on their business, something will happen. But marketing is not about shouting the loudest or reaching the most people. It is about reaching the right people in a way that makes them care. A brand that truly connects with customers does not just list its features or services, it tells a story. People do not buy products, they buy solutions to their problems, they buy emotions, they buy a better version of themselves. The most successful businesses understand this. Instead of just saying, "Our shoes are comfortable," they tell a story about a runner who found the perfect pair after years of pain. Instead of saying, "We sell handmade candles," they describe a person lighting one after a long day, filling their home with warmth and peace. Marketing does not have to be expensive or complicated. Some of the most powerful strategies are also the simplest. Businesses that take the time to truly understand their customers can reach them without spending millions on advertising. A well-written email to the right audience can bring in more sales than a billboard seen by thousands of people who do not care. A single social media post that speaks directly to a customer's struggle can be more effective than weeks of generic content. Markets change, and businesses must change with them. What worked a year ago may not work today. Companies that refuse to adapt eventually become invisible. The best businesses stay close to their customers, listen to what they need, and adjust their message accordingly. They experiment, they learn, and they refine their approach over time. Marketing is not about being everywhere. It is about being in the right place, saying the right thing to the right people. It is about building trust, telling stories, and making customers feel understood. When a business learns how to do this, marketing stops feeling like a struggle and becomes a natural conversation, one that leads to real, lasting success. A customer walks into a small cafe, tired after a long day. The barista greets them with a warm smile, remembers their usual order, and asks how their day has been. It is a small gesture, but it changes everything. In that moment, the cafe is no longer just a place to buy coffee. It is a place where they feel seen, valued, and appreciated. That feeling is what makes them come back again and again. That feeling is what makes them tell their friends about the cafe. That feeling is the true secret to business success. Many businesses believe that success comes from the right marketing strategy or the biggest advertising budget. But no amount of marketing can make up for a bad customer experience. A customer who feels ignored, frustrated, or unappreciated will leave, no matter how great the product is. And they will not leave quietly. They will tell others about their disappointment, warn them against buying, and take their business somewhere else. Poor service does not always look like rudeness. It can be something as simple as slow responses, confusing websites, or employees who do not seem to care. It can be a company that makes customers feel like they are just numbers instead of real people. Customers rarely complain directly, they simply disappear. They stop buying, they stop recommending, and slowly, without any dramatic failure, the business starts to shrink. The companies that truly thrive are the ones that make their customers feel valued. They go beyond just selling a product or service. They create experiences that people remember. They make customers feel special in ways big and small. A handwritten thank you note, a personalized email, a quick and thoughtful response to a concern. These are the things that build loyalty stronger than any discount or promotion ever could. Creating a great customer experience does not require a big budget or a complex strategy. It begins with listening. It begins with caring. It begins with treating every customer like they matter because they do. Businesses that master this simple but powerful idea do not just attract customers. They build relationships. And those relationships are what turn small businesses into big successes, struggling brands into industry leaders, and first-time buyers into lifelong fans. A once thriving bookstore sits empty, its shelves collecting dust. Just a few years ago, it was filled with customers flipping through pages, chatting with the owner, discovering new stories. Now, the doors are locked, and a for-lease sign hangs in the window. Across the street, a sleek new store is buzzing with activity, selling books both in-store and online, offering same-day delivery, hosting virtual author events. The difference between them is not the love of books. It is the willingness to change. The world never stays the same. Customers change, technology changes, markets shift. The businesses that survive and grow are the ones that move with the changes, not against them. But change is uncomfortable. It requires stepping into the unknown, trying new things, admitting that what worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. Many business owners resist this because they are attached to the way things have always been. They think, this has always worked for us. Why should we change? They convince themselves that the problem is temporary, that customers will come back, that the new trends are just fads. And by the time they realize their mistake, it is too late. History is filled with examples of businesses that collapsed because they refused to adapt. Blockbuster ignored the rise of streaming, believing that people would always prefer renting DVDs in-store. Kodak, a company that once dominated photography, dismissed digital cameras because they feared it would hurt their film business. These companies had everything: resources, brand recognition, loyal customers. But they held on to the past while the world moved forward, and they paid the price. Successful businesses do not fear change. They welcome it. They look for ways to evolve without losing their core values. They listen to their customers and adjust. They test new ideas without risking everything at once. They stay curious, open-minded, willing to learn. Adapting does not mean abandoning what makes a business special. It means finding new ways to serve customers, new ways to stay relevant, new ways to grow. Innovation does not have to be drastic. It can be small changes. A cafe that adds mobile ordering, a clothing store that starts a personal styling service, a local bakery that begins offering nationwide shipping. These small steps keep a business fresh, competitive, and ready for the future. The businesses that survive are the ones that understand a simple truth. Change is not the enemy. Stubbornness is. The world will keep moving forward, with or without them. The choice is theirs. There is a moment every entrepreneur dreads but rarely talks about. It happens in the quiet hours, long after everyone else has gone home. The emails are still unanswered. The to-do list is longer than it was in the morning, and the weight of it all feels unbearable. The passion that once fueled late nights and early mornings has turned into exhaustion. The dream that once felt limitless now feels like a heavy burden. Running a business is more than a job. It is a constant mental and emotional battle. Every decision carries weight. Every problem feels personal. Every success is quickly overshadowed by the next challenge. Entrepreneurs pour everything into their work, their energy, their time, their creativity. But when there is nothing left to give, when exhaustion takes over, the business begins to suffer. Burnout does not happen all at once. It builds slowly, in the ignored warning signs, in the skipped meals, in the nights spent staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. A burned-out founder makes poor decisions. They miss opportunities, react emotionally instead of strategically, and lose the ability to lead effectively. The exhaustion clouds judgment, making small problems feel like disasters and simple solutions seem impossible. The fire that once burned brightly dims, and with it, the business begins to lose momentum. Customers notice, employees feel it. The energy that once made the company special fades away. But the truth is, a business does not need an exhausted, overworked leader. It needs a leader who is strong, clear-headed, and inspired. Success is not about working endlessly until there is nothing left. It is about building something sustainable, something that thrives without destroying the person who created it. Rest is not a weakness, it is fuel. Balance is not a distraction, it is the foundation of long-term success. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs understand this deeply. They step away to recharge, trusting their team to handle things. They set boundaries, knowing that a business should serve their life, not consume it. They take care of their health because they know a tired mind cannot build something great. They learn that saying no to constant work is actually saying yes to a business that lasts. Avoiding burnout is not about working less. It is about working smarter. It is about knowing when to push and when to pause. It is about creating habits that protect energy, prioritizing what truly matters, and remembering that the business exists to support a life, not the other way around. Entrepreneurs do not fail because they are not capable. They fail because they push themselves beyond their limits, thinking that the only way forward is to do more. The real secret to lasting success is not just passion and hard work. It is resilience. And resilience comes from knowing when to rest, when to ask for help, and when to trust that taking care of yourself is the best thing you can do for your business. Success feels intoxicating. The first big wave of customers arrives, the revenue surges, and suddenly, the business that once felt small now seems ready for the world. The excitement is overwhelming. More locations, bigger teams, larger investments. Growth becomes the only goal. But there is a hidden danger in that rush. The same expansion that feels like a breakthrough can just as easily be the beginning of collapse. Many businesses fail not because they never grew, but because they grew too fast. The excitement of scaling can blind even the smartest entrepreneurs to the cracks forming beneath them. More customers mean more demands. More employees mean more management. More locations mean more complexity. The systems that worked for a small business suddenly crumble under the weight of something much larger. The financial cushion that once provided security disappears as expenses skyrocket. Instead of stability, the business is stretched too thin, growing on an unstable foundation. The warning signs are always there, but they are easy to ignore. The team starts feeling overwhelmed, struggling to keep up. Quality begins to slip as processes that once worked smoothly become chaotic. Customers notice inconsistencies, service declines, and complaints increase. Cash flow becomes unpredictable. The business that once felt exciting now feels like it is spinning out of control. True success does not come from growing as fast as possible. It comes from growing at a pace that is sustainable, where every step forward is built on something solid. Smart businesses take the time to strengthen their foundations before expanding. They make sure their operations, finances, and teams are ready before taking the next leap. They understand that a business must be able to handle its current success before chasing more. Some of the most successful companies in the world took their time. They built systems that could support their growth, tested their strategies, and only expanded when they were truly ready. They made careful decisions instead of rushing forward blindly. They understood that slow, steady, and well-planned growth is far more powerful than explosive expansion followed by collapse. Scaling should not feel like losing control. It should feel like stepping forward with confidence. It should be guided by strategy, not just excitement. Growth is not a race. It is a journey. And those who respect the pace, who build something strong before making it bigger, are the ones who truly succeed in the end. In the early days of building a business, it is easy to believe that success comes from working harder than everyone else. The long nights, the endless problem solving, the determination to do everything alone. Many entrepreneurs wear this struggle like a badge of honor. But as time passes, something becomes clear. No one succeeds alone. Every great business story is a story of relationships, of doors that open because of the right connections, of challenges overcome with the help of others. A single conversation with the right person can change everything. A mentor can offer guidance that saves years of struggle. A business partnership can open new opportunities. A connection in the industry can lead to a life-changing deal. The most successful entrepreneurs are not just great at building businesses, they are great at building relationships. Isolation is dangerous. A business owner who tries to do everything alone eventually reaches a limit. They miss out on opportunities simply because they do not know the right people. They make mistakes that could have been avoided if they had someone to guide them. They struggle with problems that others have already solved. Success is not just about what you know. It is about who you know and who is willing to help you grow. Building a strong network does not mean collecting business cards or sending cold emails. It is about creating real, meaningful relationships. It starts with reaching out, being part of conversations, asking questions and offering value to others. Joining industry events, engaging in communities, and seeking mentors are all ways to surround yourself with people who can help you move forward. But the real secret to networking is giving before receiving. The most powerful relationships are built on generosity. Instead of approaching people with the mindset of "what can I get?" successful entrepreneurs ask, "how can I help?" When you support others, share knowledge, and connect people without expecting anything in return, you build trust. And trust leads to opportunities that no amount of money or effort can buy. A business without a network is like a tree standing alone in a storm, but a business built on strong relationships is like a forest, where every tree supports the others, where roots connect beneath the surface, where growth is shared. Success is never just about individual effort. It is about the people who lift you up, the ones who believe in your vision, and the relationships that turn challenges into possibilities. No one builds something great alone. The sooner you embrace that, the stronger your business will become. There is a moment in every entrepreneur's journey when giving up feels like the only option. The excitement of starting fades, replaced by the weight of endless challenges. The bank account looks dangerously low. The customers are not coming fast enough. The effort put in feels so much greater than the results coming out. The doubts grow louder, whispering that maybe this was a mistake, that maybe it is time to walk away. This moment is where most people quit. Not because they are not capable, not because their idea is bad, but because success almost always takes longer than expected. When we hear stories of thriving businesses, we see the victories, the breakthroughs, the achievements. What we do not see are the years of struggle, the nights of uncertainty, the moments when failure seemed inevitable. The truth is, success is not an overnight event. It is the result of showing up every single day, even when nothing seems to be working. Many entrepreneurs give up just before things turn around. They push through months or even years of struggle, but stop just short of the breakthrough. It is like digging for gold and quitting inches away from striking a rich vein. The ones who succeed are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are simply the ones who refuse to quit. There will always be moments of doubt. There will be times when nothing makes sense, when every effort feels wasted. But success is not about never struggling. It is about pushing through the struggle long enough to reach the other side. It is about taking one more step when everything in you wants to stop. It is about adjusting, learning, and staying in the game long enough for things to start working. Some of the greatest businesses in history almost did not make it. Apple was weeks away from shutting down before securing investment. Airbnb struggled for years with the founders maxing out their credit cards to keep going. Even Starbucks, now one of the most successful brands in the world, had to push through years of slow growth before finding the right strategy. The common thread in these stories is not luck. It is perseverance. Giving up too soon is the final mistake. It is the only mistake that guarantees failure. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of struggle is just part of the journey. The key is to keep going, to keep believing, to trust that if you stay committed, keep learning, and keep improving, success will come. The ones who win are simply the ones who hold on long enough to see it happen. There is something different about the ones who make it. They start with the same challenges, the same doubts, the same overwhelming obstacles as everyone else. Yet while most businesses struggle, fade or fail, a small percentage rise above. They thrive in ways that seem almost impossible to those still stuck in survival mode. It is not luck. It is not just timing. It is something deeper, something in how they think, how they move, how they refuse to settle. The most successful entrepreneurs do not chase overnight wins. They understand that real success is built, not found. They are disciplined in ways most people are not willing to be. They show up when they do not feel like it. They stay consistent even when results are slow. They treat their business like a craft, something to be refined and improved every single day. They never stop learning. They read. They listen. They surround themselves with people who challenge them. They do not let ego get in the way of growth. When something does not work, they do not blame the market, the economy, or bad luck. They ask, what can I do better? What can I change? They adapt instead of resisting. They do not just focus on making money. They focus on making an impact. The businesses that last are the ones that give people something real, something that makes their lives better. Whether it is through a product, a service, or even just the way they treat their customers, they create something meaningful. They understand that success is not a straight path. It is messy. It is unpredictable. But instead of fearing failure, they use it. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes fuel. They do not let one bad month, one lost customer, or one wrong decision make them quit. They push through, knowing that struggle is part of the process. There are businesses that should have failed but did not. Companies that faced bankruptcy, rejection, even complete collapse. Yet somehow, they turned it around. Airbnb, now worth billions, started with the founders struggling to sell cereal boxes just to pay their bills. Netflix almost died when Blockbuster refused to buy them, but instead of giving up, they reimagined their entire model. Nike was once a struggling shoe company, barely making it, until relentless focus and smart marketing turned it into a global brand. The difference between those who thrive and those who do not is never just talent or luck. It is mindset. It is resilience. It is the willingness to stay in the game long enough to win. The most successful ones are not the ones who never struggled. They are the ones who refuse to let struggle stop them. Most people will read, nod, and then go back to life as usual. They will think about change but never truly step into it. They will get inspired for a moment, but when things get difficult, they will convince themselves it was never meant to be. That is why the gap exists. The gap between those who dream and those who actually build. The gap between the 90% who struggle and the 10% who thrive. The difference is not intelligence or luck or even having the perfect idea. The difference is action. Real change begins the moment you stop just thinking about success and start moving toward it. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel more ready. Not when life becomes easier. Now. The ones who make it do not wait for perfect conditions because perfect conditions never come. They take what they have, start where they are, and build from there. The first step is clarity. What do you really want? Not just a vague idea of success, not just financial security or recognition, but something deeper. What kind of impact do you want to create? What problem do you want to solve? What is the thing that, even on your hardest days, will still feel worth fighting for? Without a clear vision, it is too easy to drift, to lose momentum, to give up when obstacles come. The next step is commitment, not in words, but in action. This means setting real goals with real deadlines. It means showing up every day, even when it is inconvenient. It means doing the work, not just when you feel inspired, but also on the days when it is frustrating, exhausting, and uncertain. Success is not built in big, dramatic leaps. It is built in small, consistent actions that add up over time. Execution is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Knowing is not enough. Reading is not enough. Planning is not enough. You have to start, even if it is messy, even if it is imperfect, even if you do not have everything figured out yet. The ones who succeed are not the ones who had the most knowledge. They are the ones who turned what they knew into something real. The journey will not be easy. There will be moments of doubt. There will be times when progress feels too slow, when failures seem too big, when everything in you wants to quit. But this is where the breakthrough happens. The hardest moments are the ones that shape you. The moments when others would walk away, but you choose to keep going. This is where you become the kind of person who succeeds. Every successful entrepreneur, every thriving business owner, every person who has built something meaningful has been where you are right now. They faced uncertainty. They felt fear, but they did not let it stop them. They kept going step by step until one day they looked back and realized they had become part of the 10%. You have everything it takes to get there. The only question is whether you will start. There will be moments when you feel like you have lost. Moments when everything you built seems to be slipping away. Moments when doubt is louder than hope, when the weight of uncertainty feels too heavy to carry. But failure is never the end of the story. It is only a chapter, a lesson, a turning point. The most successful people in the world have stood exactly where you are. They have known struggle, faced rejection, and questioned whether they were strong enough to keep going. What set them apart was not luck or talent or perfect timing. It was the decision to rise again. Every great entrepreneur, every leader, every innovator started as a person with a dream. They were not born knowing exactly how to build something extraordinary. They made mistakes. They tried and failed. But they refused to let failure define them. They learned, adjusted, and kept moving forward. And in time, they became the people we admire today. The road to success is never a straight line. It is filled with detours, setbacks, and unexpected challenges. But every challenge carries a lesson, every failure builds resilience, and every setback can be turned into a comeback. If you are willing to keep going, no loss is permanent. No obstacle is final. The best time to start is now. Not when you feel more ready. Not when the fear disappears. Not when circumstances are perfect. Now. Because nothing changes until you take action. Because the people who succeed are the ones who do not wait for the perfect moment, but instead create progress in imperfect conditions. You have everything you need to begin. You have the ability to learn, to grow, to adapt, and to build something meaningful. The path ahead will not always be easy, but it will be worth it. Keep going. Keep believing. The world needs what you have to offer. This is your journey, and it is only just beginning. Wishing you success, strength, and the courage to become everything you are meant to be.